come on up here a little bit, kiddo.
Look how bad it is.
Ready?
It tastes so good.
So, welcome back to another episode of Lower Class Fab.
Welcome back to another.
Hang on, stop. Pause so I can cut it out. All right, go.
Welcome back to another episode of Lower Class Fab.
Now, can you do it without sounding like you read it off a script?
Oh, but I didn't.
You did that.
My book's over there.
Do it again. I'm just playing. All right, y'all. So we've been working this week on a bunch of customer stuff. This is truck behind me is number 6 this week. Today's Friday. And we've been pounding them out this week. I've done a couple not OBS, but 99 to 06 trucks. I've done a leveling kit, lift kit, whatever on a Suburban. What else? I've done a C10, super sweet C10 for Nathan, 79 model.
Yep.
And one more. Can't remember what the other one was. And Chris's truck also left out of here this week. The blue S10. So it's going back to Chris. He's gonna have the bed fixed, the paint work, and then he's gonna take it to his house, put the interior in it. If I can catch up with him while he's doing the interior, we'll go over, film that, show y'all a little bit of that cool tweed interior going back in. But enough yapping. I want to film y'all something this week, and I didn't have anything going for our personal stuff that we wanted to film, so I got this this truck right here. This is a 2007 Classic GMC. Belongs to my buddy John. He sends a lot of vehicles over here. This is a grandpa special. It's got mud flaps and tube steps and just grandpa'd out. So we're gonna take it. We're gonna remove the grandpa stuff. We're gonna put it a lot closer to the dirt. We got some stock 20s on it right now, but he's putting some 24s on it whenever he gets it back. So we're going to do spindles in the front. We're going to trim the front coils a little bit. And then the rear, we're going to do a flip kit with a bolt-in style notch. The reason I'm doing a bolt-in style is because that's what we ordered for it. Instead of doing one of my notches. And also on these crew cabs, if you're not planning on swapping the one-piece drive shaft out, I would prefer to put the shorter notch in it, and it keeps it from rubbing as bad. It'll bottom out the notch before the drive shaft rubs the bottom of the cab. We're going to trim the gas tank cross member. I always do that. That way, that's where they rub first. So we're going to eliminate that problem right off the rip. But I'm going to get in here, put her to work. She got paid yesterday to do a little work, so now she's motivated.
$5 for 5 minutes.
You done 30 cents worth of work.
Actually.
It's pretty good money
Investment. For you. And then I made $10 more.
She hustled me in some basketball and made $10 more. All right, so we're gonna pull this thing in and get started. And once we get it right, get the tires off, we'll show you. Come back and show you what we're gonna do. Just got all the parts in. I ain't even unboxed them yet, so I got to unbox those. And y'all seen it before, but we're gonna show you again because, well, it's a different truck, and we're going from Grandpa Jones to, Mr. Cool. So, all right, ready?
We have all the parts.
Yeah, we got all the parts. Toodaloo.
Okay.
What we have here is an issue. Because this is a torsion bar truck. Not a coil spring truck. They're pretty rare, but here we are. We have ordered the wrong parts for this.
Oh.
The spindles will work, but the shocks are definitely not going to work. Luckily for me, I can turn the torsion bars down a little bit, and hopefully that shock will be long enough, and all will be right with the world. We're going to try it and see. Because I haven't even glanced under this truck. I just ordered the parts and said, oh, well,
hope for the best.
Yeah, it's a coil spring truck. It's not.
What's that going to lead
Friday.
to?
It's going to be fun.
What's a happy Friday? I ain't got school in the morning or nothing.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
Alright, so we started tearing this thing down. We got took the tie rod in loose first. All the ABS wire and brake line is loose. Caliper, then we pulled the rotor off. If you don't pull the rotor off and there's not a bolt in it, there's a chance it's going to fall and land on your foot. Been there, done that, ball experience. It hurts. So I always just take them off, put them to the side. I got the upper and lower ball joints loosened. There's no coil spring in this to worry about coming out hitting your face. So the shock is going to hold all the pressure from the torsion bar, which is probably not good on the shock, but it's doing the same thing, drooping. So I'm going to take the hammer, knock this loose, then I'm going to pick it up where I can stand under it, get a good swing, knock the bottom loose. Once I get those loose, pull that out, and we'll go unbox the new spindles, and I'll show you that, and we'll get them put on. So this one should, as long as everything comes apart, should go fairly quick and easy on the front. So, let's see here. Just grab your 4-pound.
That's 4 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way you did that one time.
One time.
It takes me like 30.
Yeah. Hang on. Well, you got it picked up. I know not everybody has a lift, so you got to lay on the ground and do this. So. Good ones.
Oh my.
There it went. Fine.
Didn't do that one on your first try, though.
No, I did not.
How'd you hit that every time? I would have thrown through that thing far away.
Right, so I'm going to let it down, pull that off, and we'll show you the new spindle in just a minute.
Got to be your shadow.
Do what?
So I had to be your shadow.
Oh, you already filming?
Yep.
Alright, so we got the new spindle. The only real difference is the hub is higher on the spindle, meaning this part. This spindle is actually a little taller. If you look straight down, you can see the difference in the height of these bolts. That's your lowering kit. If you're watching this channel, you probably know what a lowering spindle already does. So for those people that don't know, maybe I could educate you, but most of you probably already know. So we're just going to pull these 3 bolts out. We're going to take the spindle, throw it away, set this one around on top, start our bolts back, and put it back on the truck. Sounds like Dan's here too.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, there
Hey! Grandpa Dan.
That's how many times my buddies come to my house. We can tell by the exhaust who it is. Come on.
Pretending like that wasn't heavy.
It was.
Yeah, okay.
He goes to the gym. You know that ain't heavy, huh?
I ain't doing much.
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Actually.
Are you still filming?
Mm-hmm. I was
You're
laughing.
talking smack at the same time.
Yep. It's okay.
Alright, so we got the front put back together, showed you how to change the spindle. It's real simple. Now we're going to adjust these torsion bars a little bit. The tighter you run this torsion bar screw up, the higher the front's going to sit. The more you let off of it, the lower it's going to sit. So right now it's about dead in the middle. The smart thing to do would be to take a ratchet and count how many turns I turn it down and all that. But I'm going to take this impact and I'm going to run it down until the key is just a little bit above the threaded insert, whatever you call that thing, on both sides, and then we're going to set it down on the ground and see. We may have to let it back up or let it down. Well, there ain't really no letting it down lower than that. So, oh well, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Alright, that's a little bit off there. There's a little pressure on it. Alright, that's down. There's a little pressure, and we're going to start there. We actually, me and Dan just done a set of torsion keys on a Suburban a few minutes ago, so it's kind of fresh. Alright, so while we got it up in the air, we're going to take these tube steps off. It's just, they bolt into the cab bushing bolts. So we're just going to zip all those out real quick with a 21. Get all the dirt in my face. What are y'all barking at?
They don't know. If a frog jumped out, they gonna chase it. May.
Alright, there's one.
Was this thing on file?
That's what Dan's doing.
He's too weak to hold that step.
I know that's right.
The bushings came with it. Oh god! Everything fell. Alright, stepped out. Now we're going to put these back in so the cab doesn't fall off the truck. You got that?
Okay, that thing just fell.
What just fell?
That thing?
Oh, the other cat bush?
Yeah.
Alright, so that's that. We're going to do the other side real quick. Yeah, just throw them right there. And we're going to snatch the bed bolts out while it's in the air and get the bed off, and we can start doing the rear. Actually, we're going to sit it down and we'll show you what the front looks like first. So. Alright, we're also taking the grandpa mud flaps off. We got all those took loose. That was all 4 of them. Oh shit, I'm about to drop it off. These just bolted through the bed brace. The front ones went in the bottom fender bolt, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Did you put those back?
Yep.
Okay. So everything we took apart to take them off, we put back. And it already looks so much better without the tube steps and the mud flaps. So get these bed bolts snatched off and get this thing turned around. All right, she didn't go as low as I was hoping in the front, but we still got a little bit of adjustment. We can let that bolt all the way down. Or we may do that when we pick it back up to take the bed bolts out. It's a little higher right this minute than what it was because I got the lift under it holding it back up. We got the bed off. Bed's hanging in the air. Got to snatch these wheels off, get the shocks out of the way, get the rear on jack stands, and get this flip kit ready to go on. If you've been watching the channel for a long time, you've seen how we do the front bolt on the flip kits. If you haven't, I'll show you that. Save you a bunch of time next time you do one. Instead of having to drop the gas tank and all that and fight with the front bolt, I'll show you a quick, fast, easy way that we do it. Works extremely well. So, and this truck's also got a hitch on the back, so we got to drop that so we can get the rear shackle bolts out. But it ain't too bad all in all. All right, so we have took the shocks off so far. It's 21 both sides. Those are super simple. You just get those out of the way. Taking the nut off this bottom shackle bolt because we're going to take it loose. But to get this bolt out, you got to drop the hitch because it hits. So I'm going to snatch all these out real quick, and I'll show you the easiest way that I have found to do it, especially when you're working by yourself, where you don't have to pick that thing up and fight with it. Let me get the rest of these bolts out, and we'll be right back to show you. By the way, there's 2 on each side that's got nuts on the bottom. And the third one, the one close to the bumper, the nut is welded to the bumper bracket, so you don't have to hold it with a wrench. And it just Alright, so we got the 6 bolts out of the hitch. There's 2 more that come in by here. The easiest thing to do is to take those 6 out, and then you come in here. Oh, perfect time for my impact to die. Hang on, I'll be right back in just a second. Having the same tool that runs the same battery. Still filming?
Yep.
Alright, so we're going to loosen that bolt up. We're going to come right here and loosen that bolt up. A little bit more on that side. Now if you look, that hitch is hanging. You can get the bolt out now on both sides. And also, now when I get ready to reinstall it, I can just tighten these bolts up with impact. It'll push it back up. Just make sure that your bolts go through the hole in the hitch. Best thing to do is just come over here and pull it up like this and put a nut on it. And that way you know it's lined up. Do that on both sides and then tighten them up. That's the easiest way that I have found to do it by yourself, because now I don't have a hitch laying on the ground that I have to manhandle up in there and start bolts, which is fun. So, all right, next we'll take this shackle bolt out and get the rear on jack stands. Show you that in just a second.
Watch your mouth.
Oh, okay.
That drill's wore out. Still wore out.
I'm about to be there. What's that hole for?
I'll show you in just a second. Getting all the way through?
Yep.
Alright, so also this truck had a, I believe that's 1 1/4 inch factory block. We're going to call it an inch though. So by putting a flip kit on, it's normally a 6-inch drop, but with this it's going to be 7 inches lower than what it was. We got everything took loose. It's on jack stands. The rear is just kind of hanging out. Now we're going to get these leaf springs out. I'll show you how to do the front ones. They're really not that bad. But if you have to drop the gas tank and do all that fighting, they suck. So we're going to show you a way to get around that. And be back in just a second when we get everything set up. Hang on. Alright, so the first thing to do, took this
We got that on film.
Put this gas neck up out of your way. All right. First thing you're gonna need is your impact with a 15/16 on loosen. We're gonna break that nut loose. All right. Next thing you're gonna need is a drill with a small drill bit. Dan's already pre-drilled this hole for us because I didn't figure y'all wanted to watch us struggle with that. All right, you just need to drill a hole through it. Very simple, very straightforward. Next, you're going to need a 12mm socket. The only one that I have is a 3/8 drive, so we run an adapter. And you're going to need this on tighten. 15/16 wrench. Put it on there. Tighten. Ta-da. Spin your nut off. Super simple. Lay it out the way. All right. Next thing you're going to need is a piece of welding wire. When I run out, I always pull the extra wire out. I roll it up in a roll. I hang it on the wall because we use this to hang stuff up to paint. We use it for this. We use it for all kinds of stuff. And you can't use it. There's not enough to run through your welder, so we use it. All right, we're going to fish that through. Split the difference. We're going to bring it out. We're going to twist it good. All right. Now we're going to go get the hammer. Screwdriver. We're going to tap this just past the edge of this piece of metal. All right, then we're going to come back here. My shackle's hung, so give me a second. Wow, that went well.
Everything.
There we go. All right, so that's through there. We're going to bring that around the rear end, just like so. We're going to take our piece of wire. We're going to pull it back through. Voila. You didn't have to drop the gas tank. And all it cost you was a little bitty piece of welding wire and about a minute drilling a hole. So
what's the hole for?
Put that piece of welding wire in so you can pull it back out. I used to try to do that with the welder. I'd get it in there and then I'd run a welding wire out and try to tack it to it and pull it through. And then we figured out it's way easier to just drill a hole in it. Here, go throw that in the scrap pile, please.
Yeah, here you go. Scrap pile.
All right, we're going to do the other side. The other side, you can get to the back side of the bolt right there. So you don't have to drill a hole in it. You can just reach around, push it through. And then we're going to let this down and get ready to put the flip kit on. I don't know where the flip kit is. Hey, go get that box by the front door. Okay. Thank you. I think that's where it's at.
Maybe.
No. We got it right here for a minute. Oh, I didn't bring the stuff to take that loose. All right, get this out for a minute. All right, so this truck has got these big bump stops. I don't know if those are factory or not, I'll be honest. I kind of think they might be for like towing or something, or they're a little taller, but it's just two nuts. I'm gonna zip those out because I can't get the rear end up high enough to get the leaf spring back up and the flip kit on. So I gotta get rid of the bump stops real quick. Won't take just a second. It's just two like 13 or 15 millimeter nuts. And be back, I'll show you how the flip kit goes. So this is your generic eBay flip kit. These are a lot thicker than some of them I saw, so maybe we'll have good luck with them. But the first thing that I noticed, this hole will not fit over that bolt. Actually, the nut is up on this. If you take that bolt out and flip it over, this will fit. I would rather just ream the hole out a little bit and make it fit. So that's what I'm going to do. So it won't fit all the way over the thread. So I'm going to clamp this to a table, run a reamer through it just a little bit. What I would normally do, this hole won't fit over the bolt. It hits, so you got to flip this bottom bolt. What I normally do is I take a reamer and I just ream that hole out a little bit, but I'm going to show you how you're supposed to do it on this one. It doesn't really matter which way that bolt's sticking up or down. If you ream it, it'll be fine, but I'm going to show you. So you need to clamp it. I just got a big C-channel clamp around it. Got a pair of vice grips on the bottom. This is a 5/8 socket. I'm just going to take this. I'm going to flip it around the head to the top. Just like so. We're going to put our 5/8 nut back on the bottom.
I wish everybody was as smart as you.
This is just nuts and bolts, baby.
Oh,
it's easy.
Well.
All right, I can't get my impact under there, so I'm going to get my electric ratchet right here. Get my 5/8 socket.
Oh,
back up.
you can see them bugs flying around.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
All right.
Mosquitoes.
All right. Now the flip kit fits. Ta-da.
Tatita.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm gonna go back and actually tighten that because the socket slipped off. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. So we got our flip kit on. Look right here. Factory U-bolts. Plate just goes on top. New lower plate. There's 2 holes in it. Goes in the front hole on the lower plate. That goes over the bolt that we flipped over a while ago. And it's that simple. Now we got to tighten these leaf spring bolts now and put the hitch back on, which is real simple. And then I'm probably going to go wash all this nastiness off of me. Take my boo thing out to eat for supper. Yeah, she just got home from work. And we'll come back and finish the notch tomorrow. But this front bolt, same thing as the opposite, or same thing but opposite of what we did to take it off. We got our 12mm. We got our 15/16 wrench. We're going to loosen on the impact. It's actually going to tighten the bolt. Slide that over there. Voila, just like that. It's tight. You don't have to take the gas tank out. It's beautiful. So I'm going to do the other side. Tighten these bolts out. Put the hitch on. I don't have to show you how to do all that. It's just 21mm. Very simple. And be back tomorrow with a notch. So it's back. It's another beautiful day here in South Georgia. And it's time to do notches. You guys come over here to this side.
Oh.
So these are just eBay notches, kind of cheap, but they are 1/4 inch thick. They do the job. So what I normally do is I completely collapse the suspension. I have the lift completely down with jack stands under the rear end, and I mark the center line of the axle. This little thing is on top of the frame. Most people will tell you that that is the center of the axle, but as you can clearly see, it's not with the flip kit. Before the flip kit, it probably was, but now there's the center. All right, then you're gonna come into this plate. Your bump stop hole is the middle of this plate. You're gonna line them up. You're gonna line the bottom of this notch up pretty flush with the bottom of the frame. Just mark around. As you can see, I've already done that. Now I'm gonna jack it up. I'm gonna take my jack stand. I'm gonna put under the shackle hanger, so I have weight on the lift and the shackle, so the frame can't flex, bow down. So I'm gonna take my plasma, cut this out. And then we'll stick this up there, make sure it's centered over the rear end, and get it pushed in, mark a couple holes, go ahead and drill a couple holes. That way we can bolt it up and mark the rest of them and make sure everything's good. And also, I always weld these things. So I'm not going to weld it all the way around because we are bolted in. But I'm going to grind the powder coat off the end, each end of this, and I'll grind the frame where it lines up. These always line up in this seam right here. And then I'd say somewhere around in here. But we'll stick it where I mark it and then grind it. But that way, it just gives that extra little support. I'm not a huge fan of bolt-in notches anyway, but it's what we got for this one. It's what we're going to use. So, yeah, you sure? Buzz? Huh? All right. So, most people, I usually do this with a plasma. Most people don't have a plasma. The average person that's doing this in their yard, in their driveway, they're going to have a grinder. Harbor Freight, this thing was like 40 bucks. Everybody can afford that. Cut-off wheel, $5, and a sawzall. That's a Milwaukee, but you can buy a Harbor Freight one for cheap. You can do this yourself. So, your corners, you don't ever want to do a square cut because they will crack and your frame will break in half. So, if you're doing this with, your average tools, you come in, you drill your corners out, and then you cut off those corners where you got a nice round corner. I always round them with the plasma. I don't do a sharp corner. But I want to show you how to do this one if you don't have a plasma cutter. So we got our 6-inch death wheel on our 4.5-inch grinder, and we're about to cut it out. So what I always do is I always make a slot there, and then I come back with the sawzall. That way I can cut all the way through the frame. There's a bump stop behind this that you're gonna have to cut through too. Truck is supported by the lift, and it also has a jack stand under the spring hanger, and we just ease it down until it touches that, put a little bit of pressure on it. That way the frame can't drop, droop, do anything crazy, and it'll stay in place. If you're doing this with floor jacks, you need a jack stand up there. You can put your floor jack at the back, or vice versa. You can put a jack stand there, ease it down, with the jack under the cab. Doesn't matter. But we're gonna get this cut out. Show you in just a second. Still filming? Alright, if you look right here, see our cuts come right up to the corner of the holes. So we got a nice round end. We're gonna plug the sawzall in, go ahead and zip it on through, and we'll have this center section cut out. You gotta be ready when you go to cut through the sawzall. They like to grab because your frame is gonna move a little bit, doesn't matter what you do. So be prepared for that. If it does, you're either gonna manhandle it through or you're gonna say a bunch of bad words, one or two. I think we should swap and let you do it.
Oh no.
Well, you entertain? Oh well, you went through that one like butter. One ruined frame. Alright, so you can see right here the front of this what are you doing?
Fixing your tag.
Fixing my tag. So the front of this lines up with this seam in the frame. The rear, I was off just a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and mark that. And we're gonna mark a couple holes. There's one.
Another finger shot, sorry.
Oh, there's one. And there's two. We're gonna go ahead and drill those so we can bolt this thing up. And then we'll mark the other six. Yeah, six. And drill those. These are kind of a pain in the butt to get to, but it's possible. And before we bolt it up the final time, we'll make sure to grind the frame where we can get our weld and grind this because you can't really weld through powder coat real good. You don't have to weld it. It's personal preference. I would. If you don't have a welder, find somebody that has a welder and just put a couple welds down. Just extra insurance. You can weld it all the way around if you want. The problem with welding these all the way around is when you get ready to bag it next year, you got to cut all this off. So just remember that. Because I've cut a lot of them off that people never planned on coming off. So, also, there is a bent, this plate. There's a curve in the frame right here. And it should line up perfect with it. As you can see right here, it's flat, it's flat. So, we're going to drill some holes now. And you don't want to watch that, trust me, because I hate drilling holes with a drill. And old drill bits.
Oh shit.
Can't say that.
Stop. Now I told you I'd help if you wasn't recording.
Alright, so me and KK got the bolt in the notch. Got it bolted up and got all this ground down. Come in, lay a stitch there. One here and a little short one at the top. And that will be there as insert seam. Bam, that's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's not fucking gonna
Go anywhere, that.
I doubt that'll fall off.
It would be impossible if this thing moved.
Alright, do one more on top. We'll go to the other side. That's all we're in? Oh, okay. Heard the music cut off, sorry. Alright, so we're going to get our old friend here. And, well, this tip sticks out far enough that you could trip over it if you walk beside the truck. So we're going to cut that off so it don't hit the rear end. There's a factory hanger right here. We're just going to cut it off there. Take it out of that hanger. But we got to cut this cross member in two. Because these trucks, crew cabs come with this gigantic drive shaft. And if you don't, and you lower it 6 inches, it's going to rub. And, yeah, that's the fastest, easiest way to keep it from breaking. I don't know why Dan hadn't done his yet.
What?
Cut across one.
We did.
What's your rubber? I don't care. 2-piece drive shaft swap, people. Do it.
I do need to get one in there.
Alright, we're going to cut this. We got the shocks on, the wheels and tires is on. Everything's bolted up. Everything's tight. Believe it or not. And voila. If we were 16, we'd cut on the other side of the muffler. Alright, we out here running about 66 mile an hour down the highway. This thing rides good, drives good. Steering wheel's just a little bit off, but once we get the alignment done, that'll fix that situation. Real impressed with the ride on this one. These big tires that's got on it helps a lot. Got up to 275, 55s or something like that on it. I didn't look to see actually what it was, but all in all, the ride's pretty good. We're gonna go back and take y'all a little film of it and run down on what everything cost and go from there. So this truck didn't turn out quite the way I expected it to when we started, because I was expecting to have coil springs, but it had torsion bars. I would like for it to be a little lower in the front, but it is what it is. So I said earlier it had 275 55s. I was wrong. It actually has 255 50 20 tires. They're a little shorter than what I thought they were. The rear's sitting just right. The front needs to come down a little lower. But John, who owns this truck, he likes all his vehicles squatted, so it's perfect for him. And he's going to put 24s on it as soon as he gets it back. And I don't know what kind of 24s or anything. I do know this truck's for sale. Super clean. Needs a couple little TLC things like the grill situated. And it needs a dash pad. Other than that, it's a really clean truck. It drives good. We just drove down the road like it drives and rides really good. So, the purpose of this video is if you got an old man grandpa truck, this thing had tube steps and mud flaps and sitting way up in the air. For a little bit of money and a little bit of work, you can make it look a little better. So, like I say, I wish the front was a little lower, but without buying torsion keys and shorter shocks for the front, it is what it is. So if you have a truck that's torsion barred and you want it to sit lower, you can put keys in it. They're like less than $100, I believe, from Summit. And then shorter shocks, Nitro, Beltec sells Nitro Drop 2s that work. I've done Kyle's truck. I insert a clip right here to show you how low you can actually get the front on 22s. That truck turned out really good. He's been driving it for a while. I think he hit a deer with it a while back, and he's in the process of still trying to fix it. But that truck rode and drove great too. So the front, we bought spindles off eBay. They were $120 for the spindles. The rear has got also an eBay flip kit. It come with a notch kit. That thing was $60. We're at $180 right now. And then we bought 4 shocks, but they of course didn't work out in the front. So rear shocks for that truck were Beltec 8510s. They are $54 a piece, so you're looking at $108. So we're $260 in the stance on this truck. It rides good, drives great. It does need alignment. You're gonna have about $70 or $80 in that, depending on how much they charge locally. And if you did want, like I say, if you did want to go a little lower in the front, keys, shorter shocks, you're there. If you have one of these trucks and it has coil springs in the front. Pull that coil out, cut half a round off. So if the end of the coil is here, come straight across, cut it there. That'll drop it 2 inches to go with the spindle, and it'll sit perfect. How do we know that, kid?
You do it all the time.
Yeah, we've done it a lot. And that cutting that half a coil off is not going to change that ride quality at all. I guarantee you, if I put you in a truck with Beltec 2-inch drop coils versus a cut coil, you couldn't tell me the difference. So, hope y'all enjoyed this one. I just want to give y'all something this week. I've done, this is truck number 7 this week, and I'm tired, boss. So I'm fixing to go inside and take the rest of the day off while it's still daylight and relax for a little while and get this video edited, get it uploaded for y'all. And today, last day, hoodie order. If you want a hoodie, you better get on the website today before midnight. This is Sunday. Get your order in because at midnight I'm cutting it off. So appreciate y'all watching. Thank you.